What does it mean to you when your professor says that you should cite all your sources? Perhaps you're thinking that creating your bibliography or following different citation styles is mostly busy work. Of course, you've heard that citations are about letting others know what sources you used in your research, and that's true, but there's more to the story than that. As a college student, you are entering the world of scholars. The books and journal articles you use for your research are the work of other scholars. If you've ever flipped to the back of a book to find more good sources, then the work of that scholar has helped you. Good citation is the practice of systematically listing your research sources when you write a paper or report. Authors use citations in footnotes or bibliographies to show readers what prior research they used. The format of citations is very formal and strict, with rules about how to list authors, titles, dates, and so on. Why is strict format important? Let's look at a few of the reasons for strict formatting. First, it ensures that all the necessary information is provided, so that any reader can easily locate the items being cited. Second, using standardized abbreviations keeps the citation short. And third, standardized formats make reference lists quick to scan. In this case, we can easily see this citation list is alphabetical by main author. Each discipline tends to prefer the citation style that works best for the scholars in that field. In your academic endeavors, the appropriate citation style to use will generally be stipulated by your professor, a journal editor, or a publisher. Why do we care so much about citations in scholarship? Citing sources strengthens scholarship in many ways. If you are discussing the ideas of another author in your paper, citing your sources lets your readers easily find and verify that what you are saying is accurate. Or if you are using data or other evidence to support an argument, citing your sources allows readers to check the evidence for themselves. Citing sources also demonstrates your credibility. Readers will scan your list of references to evaluate the scope and depth of your research. And of great importance to students, citing sources leaves a trail to other relevant books and articles. Many students have learned to check the reference list of a great journal article to find more articles and books on their topic. Citation is also the way that researchers honor the work of their colleagues. Researchers expect to get credit for their intellectual work. Their jobs and careers depend on their scholarship and reputation. Consequently, the scholarly community has adopted a strong code for giving credit to others. As you can see, citing sources helps other people use information better. Failure to cite sources and give credit when you should have is plagiarism. Plagiarism is when you present someone else's intellectual work as your own, whether or not you do it on purpose. Most universities have strict policies concerning academic integrity. Professions also expect integrity, and even well-known writers and journalists have lost jobs and prestige by careless or deliberate plagiarism. How do you format citations correctly? It can be complicated. For example, how do you cite something that has 3 authors and is a second edition? To format your citations correctly, you can use a style guide. The purpose of a style guide is to show you how to properly cite different kinds of sources, such as articles, books, websites, and especially to help you do it right when things get complicated. Style guides themselves come in many formats, such as printed books or online websites, and different disciplines use different style guides. Librarians can help you find the right style guide. If you are going to be citing a lot of sources, computer programs called citation managers can help automatically format citations correctly. We've looked at how to cite correctly, but when should you cite a source? After all, you'll be reading lots of books and articles when you do research. Do you have to cite them all? Let's look at some common situations. Obviously, when you are quoting someone's direct words, you need to give credit. What about when you paraphrase or summarize someone else's ideas? Yes, give credit. And what about if you are using a phrase used by another author? For example, say an author uses a particular phrase like morals tax when referring to a tax on cigarettes. Should you put that phrase in quotes in your paper and cite the source? A good rule of thumb is to use quotation marks around the phrase and cite the source if the author invented the phrase. But if the phrase is in general use, for example, it's used in other articles without quotation marks, you probably don't need a citation when using the phrase yourself. This is one of those places you'll use your judgment. Another tricky situation concerns borrowing the structure of an argument. This too is going to require judgment on your part. Let's look at two examples. Many published journal articles contain standardized sections, such as the literature review, the method section, and the conclusion. Should you give credit to another author if you adopt the same standardized format? Okay, that was easy. But now consider this example. Say you are reading a book and you like the way one chapter is organized in presenting an argument. Can you borrow the structure and use it yourself for a completely different topic? And if you do, should you cite the original author even though it's only the structure and not the content you are using? Once again, this is a question of judgment. Many scholars would say yes, you should acknowledge the original author, although it may very much depend on the complexity and originality of the structure in question. As we have seen, citation is more than just following rules imposed on student assignments. Scholars have developed good citation practice for the benefit of readers and out of respect for the work of others. If you have any questions about citing sources, be sure to ask your professors or librarians for help.